know that we've spoken before about how you found your way into it. You'd been trying, your personal experiences, and then you've spoken about training and stuff. What is the training process involved in becoming a craniosacral therapist?
Okay, well, so because I have two modalities, I have Reiki and craniosacral therapy. I'll talk about both of those. And Reiki it's a bit of an apprenticeship type thing. Both of these modalities, you get some training, you go off and work for a while on, whoever, maybe your friends or your kid or whatever person is willing to have you do it. And the training is sort of specifically oriented, so it ain't likely you're going to do any harm. Because that's a very important aspect of it, because it's all light touch, it's almost impossible to do any harm anyway. But yeah, so there's an orientation of the level of training you have is one where if you're going off and experimenting, you're not going to hurt anybody. And then you come back after some period of time and you take another level. And the other thing that's really important is to get treated yourself, because for a couple of reasons. One is that you don't understand, for some reason you don't understand how to do the stuff unless you feel it on you. Because, and it's almost like, again, that right part of the brain says, okay, so this is what you're doing. Now I have some sort of understanding of it, some sort of way to hook into it. The other thing is that if you don't get treated yourself, you tend to have a lot more of your own stuff that you bring to the treatment, and that tends to make it so that you're less perceptive and you have less of an ability to hold the space for the other person where they really are. And that can be very, very subtle. There can be all kinds of ways that you stick in your own stuff and you're not aware of it, and the person that you're working on isn't aware of it. But yet you're still not really seeing who they are. You're seeing your own projection onto them. So that's an incredibly important part of the training for both modalities. And then with Reiki, you have to write up various case studies, and there's different. The training involves various other things which are much more specific to the field, but it's this overall process of increasing sensitivity and increasing your ability to not bring your own stuff. Mm-hmm. So those are sort of the two aspects, I think, to both of those fields that are most important, is how to really be with that other person in a way that you're not doing stuff for them. And then craniosacral therapy, there's a couple of different branches of it, but the most well known, and I think the most approachable, certainly for me, is as taught by the Upledger Institute, which the guy who kind of created the field and particularly really started applying it to all kinds of different situations and deciding on the group of people that he wanted to train, which were hands-on therapists and some other modality, and really kind of opened up this whole sort of teaching and orientation. It was a guy named John Upledger, who is an osteopath. And craniosacral therapy in general owes a great deal to the osteopathic tradition, but it's kind of moved off in other directions. So they have this distributed institute, and it's kind of a cool model, because what they do is they train teachers, and then they send the teachers out to different cities all over the world. And they have sort of the same class that you can take in any number of cities, like the introductory craniosacral therapy class. I think you can take in something like 40 or 50 cities over the course of the year.
Oh, wow, okay.
So they have then they've managed to train at least 100,000, if not a couple 100,000 therapists.
That's definitely more than I thought there were.
Yeah, so but it's partially because they do kind of go out. And then there's various other curricula which are sort of associated with that institute, that the guy who founded, or the woman who founded whatever curriculum, they have classes that they all sort of offer together, so you can go online and figure out which classes you want to do.